Hi, my name is Sarah Riley, and I'm here to tell you about my internship experience. So, I did my internship at the Utah Youth Village in the Transitions Department. I'm first going to tell you a little bit about who the Utah Youth Village are and the different departments that they have. So, the Utah Youth Village, they are a team of about 300 people in Utah who just work towards building stronger families. The founder of Utah Youth Village, Lila Bjorklund, she had this motto. Her motto was "Help one child, help generations to come." And so um, at Utah Youth Village, we hold firm to this. We believe that when we do help one child, we will help their children and their grandchildren. When you create one healthy being, they will be able to raise a better generation. So the Utah Youth Village, we especially focus on troubled children. This could be kids who have behavior problems, mental problems, emotional problems. We also take on refugee children as well who come over without their parents and they just get put into our system. And then a lot of the children that I worked with have been going through abuse or malnutrition, neglect. I've seen a lot of troubled kids come into the Utah Youth Village. The Utah Youth Village used the teaching family model. This model focused on teaching life skills in a family setting. So some of the things that were taught through this model was how to communicate effectively as a family, correcting unwanted behaviors such as talking back. It could be not being able to sit still. It could be not being able to take responsibility. Some of these skills are also, especially for refugee children, overcoming the language barrier. We also do preventative teaching and corrective teaching, so just teaching a new skill so kids are aware of it and won't get into trouble with that. And corrective teaching is when they do something bad, then the parent teaches them a correct way to do it and like in an effective way. It also talks about following instructions, problem solving, and using effective consequences, both negative and positive. So at the Utah Youth Village, there are 5 departments. I'm going to go through the first 4 pretty quickly since I wasn't part of them. But the first one is Alpine Academy. It's pretty much a full-time private school for girls, and they're in the process of making one for boys or having it be co-ed. It's a family-like environment, so these girls live on campus, they go to school there, they get therapy there, they have like parents, and they go do outings together, so it's just very family-centered there. And then there is Smarter Parenting. They just provide workshops for parents to pretty much just become super parents, and they teach parenting skills, and you can even take these workshops online, and I believe it's free. The third department was family homes. These were really interesting because there'd be a married couple who lives in a home with about 6 to 8 youth in that home, and these are kids who have been put into the foster care system, and their problems are rated so bad that they just being put into a normal foster home wasn't enough. They had to have higher supervision and parents who have gone through more training and who are full-time workers to be in the home. And so they teach these kids how to live in a family and how to like overcome their challenges. And they really try to keep these family homes normal. So these kids will go to public schools, they will do chores, they will go out on family activities. They have a dinner table. They actually live in a normal home. So I thought that was a really cool department. The fourth one is Families First. So they are an in-home intervention program. So this is like if the kids are behaving poorly and the parents aren't being effective in their parenting, and these kids have the potential of being put into the foster care system because of the parents. This is when the families first come in. So the families first specialists go into the home and teach parents skills to change the behaviors and just improve the overall family functioning. And so these specialists will spend 10 hours a week in the home for about six or more weeks, just teaching these families different skills. And these skills are based on the teaching family model. So they're working on how to communicate better. They talk about how to use effective consequences, how to teach their kids about skills, and how to correct their problem behaviors. And then this last department was the department that I actually interned in. And so that was the treatment foster care system. And so this foster care system differed from all the others because we focus on treatment foster care. So our foster care parents have to go through 40 hours of training, plus they have to do like about 20 more hours every year on top of that. And then we have consultants who I shouted a lot, who would go into the home and make sure everything was going well, made sure the home was safe, made sure the parents were being effective parents and teaching skills. They observed the family doing something together, like a family meeting where teaching was shown. These consultants are available 24/7 to these families, and if there was any problems, they were available to call. So now I'm going to talk about more of my experience there. And so the first question I wanted to answer was how I found this internship. So I was actually just planning on doing my internship in the fall of 2017 since I am off track in the spring. But I came upon the Utah Youth Village's website, and as I was going through it, I just really liked their philosophies and everything that they were doing. And I just knew that this was a place that I really wanted to do. So I went ahead and I emailed the organization, and I got a reply back from my supervisor about 2 weeks later, asking for more information about what I needed for the internship. And so I sent her some of the requirements that I needed, and she responded back, and she's all like, yeah, you can come intern for us. And she's like, let's meet up before your internship starts so we can get you set and ready to go. And that's pretty much how I found my internship and got it. So my responsibilities and how I benefited from my internship site is the next thing I'm going to talk about. So one of the things that I had to do was attend staff meetings. So in the staff meetings, it was the director, so my supervisor, the referral person who got like all the referrals for foster care, and then the 5 consultants. And we would talk about what was needed. We talked about some families that could take some more kids, some of the referral kids. We talked about advertising and how to recruit some more foster parents so we can get more foster kids into the system. And I benefited the Utah Youth Village in those because I was able to help bring in a new perspective and bring new learning into these staff meetings. I was able to help with some newer marketing ideas and how to use that. One of my other responsibilities was updating the independent living program. The independent living program is for those who are about to age out of the program and who are going to go be living on their own. And the kids can also be in high school and be working on these skills. And so the independent living program, there's different sections of like how to clean effectively, how cars, transportation, finances, stuff like that. And when I first got it, it was super outdated. It talked about newspapers and just didn't have any like internet sourced ways to find jobs or homes or cars. And so I went ahead and updated all that information, and I am about to complete it within the next week. I also accompanied consultants to appointments. So there's 4 different types of appointments that I've been on. There's consultations where it's just the consultant and the foster parent talking about how the child is doing in the home. There were in-home observations, which we would go to the home and we would observe them teaching the children skills in like a family meeting setting, or we would just watch them interact to see if the parents were doing what they were supposed to and trained to do. Overall program reviews is that we would take a tour of the home, and because to watch for like safety hazards and make sure the home is still up to code. It also helped the kids practice social skills, and then we also observed family meetings, and we wanted to see how the children were doing. And then there's the child and family team meetings where everyone who was involved with the child, so foster family, biological family, their caseworker, the consultants, therapists, just to discuss how the kid was progressing and what else could be going on. And the last thing that I did for the Utah Youth Village was go to families and teach a lesson. I chose to teach them on family love languages, and I was able to teach them how to use their love languages to help their family build unity and to come together and learn how to love each other, because foster families can be stressful, but when they come together and unify, then their family bonds will be strong. And so, how did I benefit from the Utah Youth Village? So, I gained experience working with families. I also learned what foster care really was. When I went into my internship, I had really negative thoughts about foster care, about how these children are just taken away from their families and they never change. But I have seen so many children, just from my 14 weeks that I was there, going from suicide to having the greatest moments of their life and just completely changing their lives. And I've seen a couple of these children get adopted into their families or will be adopted by the end of the summer. I also developed stronger teaching skills. By going to these families' homes, I was able to work on my teaching skills and become a stronger presenter and more confident in what I've been teaching. I've also overcome the fear of talking to those I don't know. I tend to be a little bit shy, but with going into homes that I don't know and talking to families that I've never met, I've been able to overcome that fear and be able to be confident in meeting new people and starting conversations. I also learned how to live independently by doing the independent living program. Even though I've been going to college since 2014, I've been married, there were some things in the independent living program that I took and implemented into my life so I could better live independently. So I'm just going to go over one connection to my degree, but you can look at some of the others. So from my family 430 class, the family and community relationships class, I was able to connect the Bronfenbrenner's ecological model. So there's the child and then microsystem, and the microsystem could be their foster parents. And then in the mesosystem, it's like connections. So their foster parents talking with the caseworker, since the caseworker is technically the guardian of the child, and having the parents and the caseworker work together to create a treatment plan for the child. That would be the mesosystem. The exosystem would be the Utah Youth Village, the agency that the children is placed into. Macrosystem could be so the government policies in Utah for foster care. It could be other people's belief systems. And then the chronosystem I won't go over because the micro, meso, exo, and macro are the most important systems that we've focused on. And so in closing, I would like to just give you a slide with my supervisor's contact information. As I talk to my supervisor, she would love to have more interns come and learn about foster care and better the village like I have. And I would recommend this. I learned so much, and I've learned about the government, about homes, about family. I worked directly with families. I was in the homes. I was able to teach families. And some things why I would recommend this is that it's flexible hours. I set up my own schedules. I worked with families in the home, and then the people I worked with were fantastic. I've never met a nicer group of people in a workplace. And so on the bottom is just my supervisor's contact information. Her name's Charity Houghton, and she would love to have you join her team. Thank you.